Hey everyone, Andrew back again and welcome to another video, and today I am here with a tag response video. Horror Man fan tagged me to do my top 15 horror movies from the last 15 years on Blu-ray. So any film from the year 2000 up until 2015, horror, and it has to be on the Blu-ray format. This list was kind of difficult to compile, but I am pretty happy with my choices. These aren't really in any particular order, except I will be saving my all-time favourite for last. So guys, before I get into my selection, if you're not subscribed to Horror Fan Man, I'll be leaving his channel link in the description box below. He's an awesome guy from the UK. We have a lot in common in terms of horror films, and he pretty much has a similar channel to mine. He does a lot of regular updates, so check him out if you haven't and give him a sub. But with that out of the way, let's get on to my list. So starting off the list, we have a really early film from the year 2000 actually, and that is American Psycho with Christian Bale. From a character standpoint, this movie is absolutely awesome. It's set in the 80s, it has some great music throughout, and it's just a really good serial killer themed film about the corporate rat race. Really well done, and it definitely had to be on the list. Next up we have The Fourth Kind, which I consider to be fairly underrated. It's based on actual events, and this is all to do with alien abduction. It's filmed really interesting actually. It's kind of a mix of traditional film and documentary style, and the two work extremely well together. It's pretty unique in that aspect. Basically it's about a group of residents from a small Alaskan town who have all experienced the same sort of alien abduction. So highly recommend checking it out. It's really good if you're a fan of sci-fi horror alien abduction films and you've never seen The Fourth Kind. Check it out. Next up we have Stitches, which is an awesome modern slasher, great killer clown film. This one has some of the most awesome and over-the-top kill scenes that I have ever seen. The body count isn't extremely high, but it's really short. It's a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of slasher films from the UK, this is a UK production, definitely check out Stitches. It's a lot of fun. Next up we have a rather recent film from last year actually, and that is Housebound. This one really took me by surprise. Yeah, this was absolutely fantastic. It's from New Zealand, and I do like my New Zealand films, and it's good to see another horror film from New Zealand because there hasn't been one for a while. This one sort of got that unique charm like Peter Jackson's earlier films, completely different to those, but it does sort of have that homegrown charm to it. This is really well done. It's sort of a blend of family drama, horror and comedy elements, and it works extremely well. This one basically centres around a young woman. She's on home detention. She ends up moving back in with her mother, and the house is sort of possessed by an evil spirit. As I said, really well done, so definitely check out Housebound. Next up we have a Ty West movie, The House of the Devil, and this is another extremely well done film centered in a house. This is sort of a haunted house style cult movie, and the thing I most like about this is it's an awesome throwback to late 70s, early 80s horror. It does not rely on body count or gore whatsoever. It's just that traditional suspenseful film, and apart from the ending, which is a little bit iffy, the rest of the movie is absolutely fantastic. So that's House of the Devil. Next up we have the Maniac remake with Elijah Wood, and I've got to say I prefer this over the original. Don't get me wrong, the original is a classic, but this one was just absolutely mind-blowing. It's my favourite remake of all time. Elijah Wood was absolutely amazing as Frank Zito. The kills are really in your face and brutal. I love the way the film was shot, and the soundtrack is absolutely incredible. So this was an easy pick for my top 15, and that is the Maniac remake. Next up we have 28 Days Later, and this was a fairly easy pick for my list. I consider this to be a modern classic. Great sort of reinvention, bring back of the zombie genre, and it was so well done. This one is set in the UK obviously, and I really love what they did with the zombie slash infected genre with this movie. They made the zombies a lot more faster. They definitely gave it a pretty awesome modern take. And the characters are all great. There's some awesome action sequences throughout, and the setting is really, really good as well. So 28 Days Later, modern classic. Next up we have another UK film, and that is Eden Lake. This one is absolutely fantastic. It's basically a cat and mouse style, hunting style horror film about a young couple staying at a remote location in the forest by a lake, and they get stalked and hunted by a group of pretty psychotic teenagers. Very, very well done. It's extremely brutal and harsh, and the ending, whew, the ending is one you certainly won't forget easily. So that's Eden Lake. Next up we have The Strangers, which is an absolutely fantastic home invasion film. Pretty simplistically done, but it's really, really creepy, very suspenseful. It's shot really well. They use great lighting techniques throughout. And again, this one has a pretty shocking ending when you find out why the couple got invaded. So if you're a fan of home invasion films and you've never seen The Strangers, definitely check it out. It's really well done. Next up we have Saw, and again, this was another fairly easy one to include on the list. When I first saw this, I thought it was really, really unique and original, and I really loved the twisted take on the killer in this one. Basically, the killer, Jigsaw, he doesn't officially kill anyone. He basically lets the victim decide their own fate, and I thought that was a pretty original and cool idea. I really loved the setting in this one, set in a bathroom. The character development is pretty good. It's got a pretty good story, and this one has another really interesting ending actually. I didn't see the ending coming, but when you thought about it, it was kind of obvious. So yeah, that's Saw. Next up we have The Last Exorcism, and this made the list simply because it's one of the few horror films to genuinely scare me. It's an exorcist film obviously, and it's really, really well done. It's sort of done documentary style, and it works really well. The characters are all great, the storyline's pretty interesting, and there's some very, very creepy scenes when the girl's possessed throughout the film. And yeah, as I said, one of the few horror movies to genuinely scare me. So The Last Exorcism. Next up, had to include an Aussie horror in this list, and I decided to go with Wolf Creek. This one is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure most of you have seen it. This one's actually loosely based off the real-life serial killer Ivan Milat, or also known as the Backpacker Murderer. This is so well done, very sadistic, very creepy. Pretty simple premise really, but I love it. The location's awesome, really well shot, and man, that laugh, the laugh is the creepiest laugh I have ever heard. So Wolf Creek. Next we have The Mist, which I would consider to probably be my all-time favourite modern creature feature. Really, really well done. One of Stephen King's better adaptations in my opinion. What can I say about this film? I love the setting in the grocery store. The characters are really, really good. The storyline is fantastic. And honestly, the ending, one of the most thought-provoking and memorable endings that I have ever seen in any horror film. You will not forget this ending in a hurry. Yeah, not much more I can say. The effects are really good. The creature looks awesome. It's got great atmosphere, really, really creepy and moody. And if you've never seen the black and white version of this, there's a colour version and a black and white version. Definitely check out the black and white version. It makes the film a whole lot better in my opinion. So yeah, that's The Mist. Next up we have Hatchet II, and this was another really easy pick. This is my favourite modern slasher. and I really enjoy the Hatchet series, but out of all of them, Hatchet 2 is definitely my favourite. We saw Danielle Harris make her first appearance in this one, and yeah, just such an awesome sequel. They ramped up the kills. The kills are really, really gory, great effects. But the thing that really impressed me the most about this movie was the casting. It doesn't have your traditional teenage cast of characters that you'd expect from a slasher film. They're all pretty mature. There's some great cameos. Tom Holland, of course, who directed Child's Play, was in this. He was one of the main characters, actually. He was absolutely awesome. So Hatchet 2, my favourite modern slasher, easily had to be on the list. And last, but certainly not least for my picks, we have Trick or Treat. And this was actually the very first film that I thought of before I initially picked out my films to make this list. Trick or Treat is a modern classic. It is probably my favourite horror movie from the last 15 years. It's my all-time favourite anthology. I love the setting. Like most of you, I'm a massive fan of Halloween, and the Halloween setting in this film is just absolutely perfect. All the characters sort of centre around the little sack boy Sam. Very, very well done. All the stories blend in perfectly. Great setting, great atmosphere, great length to the film. What can I say? It's an absolute classic. I absolutely love it, and there is a sequel in the works, and I cannot wait for it. So yeah, my last pick and my favourite pick of the list is Trick or Treat. Alright guys, so that does it for my top 15 horror movies on Blu-ray from the past 15 years. I'm not really going to tag anyone specifically, but I'm going to leave this as an open tag. So if anyone wants to participate, that would be absolutely awesome. And once again, if you're not subscribed to Horror Fan Man, I will be leaving his channel link in the description box, so please check him out. There's been a lot of great tag responses, and it's pretty cool to have seen the community get behind this and get involved. I was pretty stoked to be involved with this one, so Horror Fan Man, thanks a lot for tagging me. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed my picks, the video, and thank you for watching.